How can you expand your creative ability?
My wife and I went to a coffee shop that we usually frequent. She likes to get out of the house to get some work done. She's more productive that way, and me, I'm kind of the opposite. So anyways, it's always a good opportunity for me to get out of the house and spend time with her, and plus I just want to be with her. So while we were there, we took turns asking and answering questions from our book of 2,000 questions. How many shoes do you have? All the way up to serious, life, and existential questions that would make us think deep. So while we were at the coffee shop, my wife asked me a very important question, which wasn't even in the book. She asked me, can I remember exactly what the question was? I'm gonna ask her.
How can you expand your creative ability?
So it was an on-the-spot question that she asked me, and I think I liked the answer that I gave her. So I told her 3 things that I do personally to help me grow in my creativity. And the first thing is that I engage my imagination. I think one of the best gifts God has given us is our ability as humans to imagine, to create things in our minds even before we get tools or whatever we use in our creative processes. It's very useful. If you ask me, it's the best gift that I have. So I just set my mind and let it roll. I don't think too hard about the perfect way to begin a story. I like storytelling. I like filmmaking. I don't think too hard about the best way to end a story. I just let my mind work in an imaginative way. I see things and I keep seeing them. I add on certain things. And even when I'm writing, I just write. I write, I put it away, I write again. Sometimes I compare to similar things that I wrote, and just seeing them gives me another idea, and then I write again. So the ability to imagine as a creator, I think it's the best you could ever do. Broaden your imagination, engage your mind on the train, on the bus, in the shower, just keep imagining. There are times that I write in one particular book, and then I go out, I don't have the book with me, I write again, same imaginative process, but when I come home and I compare the 2 that I wrote, they differ, and in fact they complement each other. Sometimes we worry too much about how perfect things should be, how nice the story should end before we even start writing. And you hear a lot of experienced screenwriters and creators in different art forms tell you the same thing. Just let it go, use your imagination. Enjoy that mental space. Be there, stay there for a long time, get lost in it. The story itself, the imagination itself will find you and will take you to another place that you could never get to if you don't let it. That's how I ended up in the art of documentary filmmaking. I'm a student here in China. I had closed from school, I was going back home, and I was just imagining who were the first African students here in China. So I was thinking through all of my experiences and just staging all of that mentally, and then bam, I realized I don't even know the history of African students here in China. A lot has been said about business and trade, but I don't really hear a lot when it comes to students. I went on YouTube to see if I could find some videos, some documentaries. I love watching documentaries. I watch on average 5 documentaries a week. And I didn't really find anything about the history of African students here in China. And that got me thinking, maybe I can study more and get into it. So that's how my imaginative process began. And that leads me right into the second point, which is the acquisition of skills that are useful to the creative environment that you find yourself in. In my case, after going online, searching here and there, I didn't really find any video or documentary that was comprehensive enough to present the history of African students in China, and I decided to do it. That's what dreams do to us. I don't know why it came to me, and I didn't want to just watch it go. So I decided I want to learn the art of filmmaking. I want to take it seriously. I didn't really have any experience in writing scripts, in doing documentaries, and I didn't know anything. I had to start from scratch. And that was right after we got married. My church gave us a present, and I used that money to buy my first camera, Canon 600D, and I began my filmmaking career. So I went on YouTube, watched a lot of tutorials, signed up for courses online, Coursera, Udemy, LinkedIn. LinkedIn has been a great support for me. They have some really amazing and good tutorials on there. I learned video editing, I learned sound, I learned everything. And I'm still a beginner, I'm still learning, but when I look back now, I have come a long way. I'm still growing, I'm still learning a lot, and I haven't even finished the documentary yet. So just one step to learn something just took me from nobody, knowing nothing, to what I can do now, which is amazing. So not just being able to imagine, but having the courage to step into the skills, the areas that you're lacking, just to fill in those gaps, because these are the skills that are useful in creating. So it's more or less like an artist who draws, and you having beautiful pictures, beautiful scenes, and you like to draw them, but you don't even know the first thing about colors or holding a brush or a pencil. What do? You start learning finger dexterity. You learn how to hold the brush, how to mix colors. A lot of times people have great ideas, they're able to imagine, come up with great stories, but they're not willing to go down and begin to learn the skills that they would need to create those beautiful moments. I had a bunch of stories floating around in my head. Now they're all coming together. The story, the plot, that's not going to be a problem. I have a lot of them now, but getting the skill gives me the ability to let go of these stories. In other words, to create them, to put them out there so that they can do the job that they are meant to do. They can touch lives, they can inform people, they can educate people. So getting the skill to create is the second thing. And the third thing is simply create and create and create more. There's nothing else to do. After you've been able to put your imagination to use, get on the path of acquiring skills to help you create, there's nothing else to do but just create. It doesn't matter, you're going to make mistakes, but that's how you put both the imagination and the skill together. You create, you see your mistakes, get feedback from people, and don't be sad when people criticize you. Even when it's harsh, take it. The goal is not to create something perfect now. The goal is to put what you've learned to use. If you are self-taught like myself, I haven't been to any film school. You're not writing any exam. Nobody is testing you. So what do? Create. That's what I'm doing here on YouTube. I'm not here to make the most perfect videos, the best color grading, the best sound. No, I'm just learning. I'm here to utilize everything I've learned so far and then watch myself grow more. So I need more feedback. I'm only here as a learner. And I think that approach would help you create more. You won't be shy. Pick up your camera. Go out there. Whatever creative ability you have, do it. Create more. Do more. As you do, you are going to recognize the areas that you need to improve. So put your imagination to use, get the skills to help you create, and just keep creating. Create more. Do it. Do it over and over and over again. Make more mistakes. Learn from those mistakes and keep going. So those are the three things I personally do to help me grow in my creativity or creative process. Thank you.